Higher Education Information System Resources. This is a division of the Illinois Board of Higher Education, or IBHE, and they run the IHEIS system. There's a couple of important things on this web page. First, the login to the system is here. You can do your registration for a primary administrator. Forms are located within the website. Timelines are also collected here. So each year the timelines change a little bit. You can see this is 2022, 2023, this is 23, 24. And so for this year there is, I completed the fall enrollment, spring enrollment, next up is the summer enrollment. And so each reporting is for the quarter beforehand. Please note that spring enrollment includes winter term if on quarters, and so when we report winter and spring together, but we report fall and summer quarters separately. And so it has an impact for number of credit hours that you're going to add on. There's a lot of resources within the system. To begin, this is just the census information. There's a data dictionary. You will want to download this every time before you run your information. And so the reason that you want to do that is that this is a data dictionary telling you, it gives you the information with regards to what the tables are labeled as. It'll make more sense once you see it. Let's see. And so this is the data dictionary and the layout. And so notice down here you have plenty of tabs. And so filling this out really is completing a spreadsheet, and you're going to need what each section is and what is considered a acceptable response. If you don't put in the responses that are acceptable, it will shoot back your spreadsheet to you. And so you'll want to review this just so that if you get stuck on something or you don't know what it means, you can refer back to this. It goes through different graduation dates and files, different codes for institutions, state codes, Illinois county codes, and IDOC lists. And so each of these will be helpful when you start filling out the form. Let's put this back. And so each time it'll give you a template. Additionally, there's a PowerPoint and video recording containing information related to completing the survey. The template is just that. It's a blank template that has to include all the information. Please note in the first row you have all of the identifying characteristics of each individual student. So you'll put students down the rows and you'll complete the information in each column. And each column, if you're not sure what, we'll try to find something a little more institution assigned ID. You can go back to the data dictionary, institution assigned ID. It's a character. It can only be 16 in length, minimum of 1. It adds up to 16 characters. And it shows that it's the student ID assigned by the submitting institution. And so institution assigned ID is the student ID, or this would be the workday ID. Once you've downloaded the template, you'll have this blank Excel spreadsheet with the first row filled in with the different column titles and labels. Easiest thing to do at this point is to take an old Excel spreadsheet and put it into the new template. Thankfully, since I did this in fall already, and since the templates are good for a year, I can go to the IBHE folder in the School of Nurse Anesthesia, and here are my enrollments. Fall was completed in April, and here's the completed template for the fall. And so the easiest thing to do is just copy this and paste. Now notice I purposely brought in the first row, and that's so that I can compare the rows as I go across. I want to make sure that I I pasted properly and that the template hasn't changed. Everything looks good. And so what I can do then is just go back and delete that. And so this is the fall information being put into the spring template. And so there's a couple changes you have to make, but there's a lot of things you don't have to change. You can go through the data dictionary here. And so each column label here is found in the data dictionary rows in case you have any questions. And so like institution assigned ID is going to be their workday number. And you can find that institution assigned ID, student ID created by the institution. And so because dates of birth don't change, gender, ethnicity, this is all unchanged. Addresses, and then test scores, GREs. Then we start getting the things that do change. Note the date of enrollment is not when they began the program. This is when the data collection begins. And so if you're unsure of that, you can go back to the data dictionary. I think I already had it in there. And you can put just search for date of enrollment, column 50, date of enrollment, and tells you it's a data type, it's a date, a length, it has to be 6, it's year, month. It's a start date and term of enrollment, term of enrollment being collected. Since this is spring, we're doing winter and spring together, so it's going to be January. And so we want to change that to 2024-01. And since every student came in at the same time, term of enrollment. Term of enrollment shows you the codes are here. Fall semester, spring semester, summer semester. We don't run semesters, we run quarters. So Q is going to be fall quarter, winter quarter, spring quarter. And it's the term in which the student is enrolled. And even though we're collecting data for winter and spring, they're currently enrolled in spring, which is C in the code. We can pop that in. Enrollment entry type, and you can go through and see this. Formatted 5. Enrollment entry type. Enrollment entry type. You can see that number 3 is first-time graduate, master's, doctors, other. And so we are a certificate program, but the problem with number 6 is it's not a degree. So what we've always done is just put in the number 3 for the doctorate. With the program level, we put 0. It's undeclared, unclassified. And this really has to do with the fact that we're not reporting on anything for DePaul. We're reporting only on information for our institution. And so since DePaul is a degree-granting institution, the school reports as certificate for almost all state and federal reporting. And then you just go through, match up. Probably the hardest part, so remember this is the fall information I'm putting in the spring. Total cumulative hours earned, total cumulative hours accepted. And accepted does not include DePaul. Again, this is just accepted for us, so if we were to accept outside credit from other nurse anesthesia programs, we would put it in here, but we don't. And so if you have a question about that, you can just copy that, back to our data dictionary, find, paste, and there you are. Total cumulative hours accepted by submitting institution for all sources at end of term. And so we don't take AP credit or other transfer credit for our coursework. And again, this is And so the cumulative hours we're reporting are not DePaul. We only report our own. Find out the total cumulative hours earned, hours accepted, cumulative GPA. You can go to school nurse anesthesia. This is what I used the grades for. Go to the database. And so you can use the transcripts function here. North Shore, DePaul, however you enter it in here, this whole thing has been set up to calculate credit hours, quality points, GPAs, cumulative GPA, DePaul credits, quarter hours, GPA, North Shore credits, North Shore quarter hours, North Shore GPAs. And so that's why I wait to update this, because I'm collecting for the spring and winter terms now. And so what we'll do is, if you want to, you can sort this by, oh, actually we're at course number. Let's see what we have. We've entered, okay, so here we are. So A and P grades aren't entered, or Patho isn't entered yet. Winter, spring, and so here we are. Here's our 20 credit hours, here's our North Shore GPAs. And so you can see in the fall, this is the class of 2026, if you're ever worried about it. Starts with Jordan here. It's pretty easy to tell because you can see when the credit hours change. And so you'll have to update all these credit hours. And so, thankfully, here got all the credit hours. Copy that. And then you can also do their GPAs. That. And remember, this is all just North Shore, not DePaul. That's why we maintain the two GPAs, North Shore GPA, DePaul GPA, and a cumulative. So GPAs are in, credits attempted, credits earned are all updated. And then you have to do it for term. And so we went from 6 to 20, so there were actually 14 credit hours per term. And you kind of just fill and update all this information. There we go. 14 attempted. And so the 6 plus 14 is what gives you the credit 20 here, and then the GPAs here. And you just do that for each class. And so this is the class of 2026. We're done with you. That's the backup. We're done with you. I'm not going to save anything. Class of 2025, same. You see we got 48 credits. Nothing's been updated for, so the class of 20, the nursing 612 class hasn't been updated yet. So they've been in 2 practicums. They were at 40. Now they're at 48. 48. And they only attempted 8. And so you just go through and update these with the credits that were attempted, the credits that were earned. So we'll need to update the GPA. Easy enough. We take the North Shore GPA and we put it in there. Go back and make sure. And you want to make sure that you're putting in the right class, DAMI, through any award. And that's really it for completing this spreadsheet. What you want to do is go through the data dictionary, look up each individual column, and then just answer the questions for that student. It's okay to leave things blank, and I recommend importing answers from previous submissions. It makes your life a little easier. The problem is that you just want to go through and make sure everything's been updated. And that's really it for completing this spreadsheet. What you want to do is go through the data dictionary, look up each individual column, and then just answer the questions for that student. It's okay to leave things blank, and I recommend importing answers from previous submissions. It makes your life a little easier. The problem is that you just want to go through and make sure everything's been updated. Higher Education Information System Resources. Just be sure to go back to this page, check your data collection times. They get updated every year. Like I said, the next one, the spring enrollment will be updated. The next one due will be Friday, October 4th. Make sure you check out these resources, the templates, PowerPoints, video recordings. These codes can help you find information that answers the questions through the data dictionary. And again, I always recommend every time downloading the data dictionary before you begin. And just review it real quick just to remind you of what these are. All right, thanks for listening.